Hey there, it's Dean Odell with Seven Gables Real Estate in the Odell Group. Today is January 24th of 2025. We are starting out the new year and we're starting to see some things in the marketplace that we need to talk about because the market is acting very differently and very strangely this year. Still a little bit early, but let's just get into it and talk about it right now. Again, we're going with this basic edition today, just a Zoom call format. My editor just returned back from being out of the country and probably isn't even awake right now. So we're just going to go with what we got, which is this for this week, and then we'll be back on track with our regular animations and show the following 2 weeks. All right, so let's keep going here. All right, we're going to be looking at these charts today, and we're going to start with our first chart being, why is the market acting strangely? Why is it different? Okay, let's look at the inventory. If you look at this chart on the left side, you'll see the active listing inventory the last 3 years, 23, 24, and 25, and what the 3-year average prior to COVID was, 2017 to 2019. So look at those numbers, and what do you see there? Well, what you're going to notice is 2025 is starting out with more inventory than we have had in a long time. Still below that 3-year average prior to COVID, but certainly a lot differently than last year, right? I mean, we have another, what is that, almost 850, 860 homes in the marketplace. That's pretty amazing when you look at what the 2-week change is next to that in 2025. We are up 358 homes, whereas when you look at the demand, what's happened, out of that 358 homes, there's only been 35 more homes from that increased inventory that's gone into the market. So this is adjusted the expected marketing time by quite a bit. And the adjusted marketing time is now 84 days. So we've picked up about 8 days in the last 2 weeks, which is quite a bit. That's almost 10% more. And then if you look at the new listings that normally come out in the first 16 days, you can see how in 2025, we are ahead of pace and really not that far off of the pre-COVID average. So what does this all mean? This means that we're starting to see more listings hit the marketplace. We're starting to see sellers who just don't want to wait anymore. You know, they're ready to do something. Everybody loves their, low interest rates and stuff. But, when it's time to move, it's time to move. You can't just sit in place forever, right? If you want to go, you got to go. And the people that are obviously leaving the state are doing very, very well. Very tough to stay in California, with what the conditions are right now, which we're going to talk more about on this next slide, which is our active listing inventory levels. We are starting on the left side of this chart. You can see that it's signified by the red. And what does that look like compared to years past? Well, you can see that, today our inventory is right around 2,759 homes. And 2 weeks ago, it was 2,401. So again, there's that big increase of homes we've been talking about. Last year, we were only at 1,900 and the 3-year average was 4,739. So if you look at the angle there of that red, it's going, almost on a 45-degree angle. Whereas in the past, if you look at all the past years, it starts out much flatter. So we definitely have a rush to market of homes that are hitting that we obviously hoped we would have had last year, but people put things off, right? But it seems that people are ready to get going here. They're not going to wait any longer for interest rates to go down. We haven't had interest rates. We had it in late September. I think we got down to the low 6s. Maybe it was October. And now we're back up in the low 7s again. So a little bit over 7. So people have been hoping interest rates are going to go down forever. The reality is we haven't been under 6% since, oh my gosh, it's been a while. I think it's 29 months now. So, waiting around for rates to keep falling just doesn't seem to be happening. People have to move and get on with their lives. So we're seeing that start to take effect in the charts and in the data. If you go to demand, you can see that our demand is up today over 2 weeks and almost just a little bit short of last year's demand. The difference again is that we have another 350 homes for buyers to choose from. And when you look at where last year was versus this year, even last year with a lot less inventory, we still had more buyers coming into the marketplace. So looking at the 3-year average, you can see we're still well below that in demand. I mean, it's not half, but 988 versus 1,710, that's a big difference, right? I mean, what is that, 700 and something homes. So that's a big difference. That's a lot less people buying homes. And, we have to figure out what's going on here in this marketplace. And I can tell you right now, it's about affordability. I mean, we got high prices. We've got high interest rates relative to where they've been over the last few years. So people are just starting to get pushed on what they can afford and what they can pay for. I mean, luckily we live than a marketplace that has a lot of demand for it in terms of people wanting to live here. So we continue to get homes sold, and Orange County set some records nationwide in terms of appreciation this year and stuff like that. But you got to really ask yourself, how much further can this run? How much further can it go? Don't expect a big drop in prices. I wouldn't expect that. But we are kind of hitting this level now where people are just saying, hey, enough's enough. I can't do this anymore. And we're seeing sellers, I think, that are recognizing that or want to get to another place that are throwing their houses on the market. But again, we're going to have to see what the next few weeks brings. And that's going to really start to determine where this marketplace is going. Again, if you look at the Orange County expected marketing time here, you can see on the left, there's that red line, looks like the listing line almost, right? It's just shot straight up. And you can see normally at this time of year and in previous years, the expected marketing time is actually dropping, whereas this one went up. So we have a market that's definitely acting differently. Now, is that because of the way the holidays fell this year? I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I felt like nobody worked for about 2 or 3 weeks just because of the days of the week and the way people took things off and traveled and did stuff. So it's kind of a long holiday season. Then we followed up with the president being inaugurated. We've got fires going on. We got all kinds of distractions happening in this marketplace right now. So it's a little early to say, hey, the sky is falling or things are drastically changing. We're just telling you that it is definitely starting out differently than it has in the past. We're still optimistic. We're still selling homes. We're opening escrow today on a property. So, it's not like there's zero activity, but there's certainly less activity and less excitement in the marketplace for people to go out and buy a home right now. So that could change. We're going to have to see. January is always a strange month, but this is even stranger than normal just because if you look at these charts and you look at this data, it is definitely starting out differently than it has in the past. So again, looking at the Orange County market breakdown. Now, this is where we really say, hey, what's going on in different people's price ranges, right? So you can see that we actually have, and these numbers, I should say, they change quite rapidly when you start getting into February and March. At least they have in the past. So we're going to have to see how they react this year because a lot of people should be coming into the marketplace where almost at the end of January. February is when we start seeing people certainly coming out. We always joke around about the Super Bowl and say, hey, you know what? After the Super Bowl, the market usually takes off. So we're waiting to see that, but we are talking to people out there. There are people that seem to be getting going, want to do something. Now they have more inventory to choose from. So if you're a buyer, that's good. If you look at what that means by your price range, you can see the different price ranges on the left of this chart. And you can see that a slight buyer's market starts at 2.5 million this year. And let me say something about a 2.5 price point right now. So the luxury market in Orange County is defined as the top 10% of homes that have sold. Up until last year, that was defined as up to 2 million. We have had a drastic jump in the luxury market, and now they're defining the luxury market as everything over 2.5 million, which seems a little bit more accurate to me just in the marketplace that we see. It's kind of crazy when you think of a $2 million home not being a luxury home, but when you go out there and you see what sells for 2 million, it's a nice house, right? But is it a luxury home? I don't know, but they're redefining the luxury market as the top 10%. And now we have a new bracket that is above $2.5 million is the new luxury range. So you can see the marketing time that it takes by price range. You can see nothing almost is under 60 days anymore, except for the $750 to $1 million market. So things are taking longer to sell. We can look at that next category, which is the percentage of current inventory. That's kind of interesting to compare with the next column over, which is the demand. And you can see beyond that in the next column how long it was taking to sell a home last year on that price point versus this year. So I would freeze this chart if I were you and go through it. But I think you only have a hot seller's market in one price point right now. But again, because of the time of year, that could change very rapidly. What's going to happen over the next 2 to 4 weeks is really probably going to determine the direction of this market in terms of where we're going. And we'll have a better vibe on things. I know that we're taking listings right now. And like I said, there's more listings coming on the market. So it seems like things are loosening up a little bit for the buyers here. But again, we'll have to see. So my advice, as always, for buyers and sellers is number one, make sure you get the right representation. Quite honestly, I want to remind you guys that almost, what is it? Is it 70? No, it's like 87%. That's what it is, 87%. 87% of all real estate agents are not licensed or working again in this industry after 5 years, okay? And with what we've gone through and what we're going through, there's a big fallout of agents right now. So Don't just be grasping onto any agent that's out there thinking that all agents are the same. Take your time to interview people and realize what they're going to do for you. I mean, the cost difference is very insignificant. I mean, a lot of times if you're a seller, you're focusing on what's my net bottom line going to be. If you're a buyer, it's like, how are you going to represent me best? How are you going to get something for me at the right price? I could tell you right now, well, maybe it's a little too early to go into this story because we're just opening an escrow on it, but I will tell a story to you guys in future episodes that on a deal we're working on now where it just absolutely clarifies why you want to have the right buyer's agent and why you want to have the right seller's agent. Okay. And it just basically has to do with the fact that when we represented the buyer, they got a very good deal on the property. And now we're representing them as a seller later on, and they're getting top dollar for that property and very little time in between the two sales. So anyway, again, it's really important to have somebody who represents you, somebody who's been around for a while. Everybody on our team has been in this business for a long time. I've been in the business for 35 years. There's really not that much we haven't seen. And the way we work together as a team will certainly benefit you as a buyer or a seller. So give us a call. You can reach us at the number shown below on the screen. Go to our website, theodellgroup.com, look us up and reach out to us. We hope to hear from you soon. We're all over Google. We're all over the internet. So all you got to do is Google us, theodellgroup.com. All right. Talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.